Good morning, everybody. Tuesday, once again, and going to do another Linchpin member interview. So, as we typically do when these things have to occur, a little bit of patience as I wait to see if he joins, and then hopefully we'll do the split screen seamlessly, and this whole thing will kick off, and we'll be off to the races, but we'll see shortly here. So, all right, Geoff, I see that you've watched. All right, I think you've sent a request here. Let me click on. Perfect. Happens through the magic of the interwebs. Let's see here. Oh, well, hello.
Hey there. Good morning.
Do you hear me? Hear me just fine?
Yeah, I got you. How about me?
Good, perfect. All right, let me adjust my screen here just a little bit.
I got like half of it. So
Yeah. It's always the way here. Let's see. You think I'd be better at this by now? Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate it, man. I appreciate you making some time here for a little chat.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate being able to do this. So
Yeah, of course. Let people know, I'm out on the West Coast, just outside of Seattle. Where are you coming from?
Yeah, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. So 7:45 here, and the sun's out. It's already a little bit hot, so it's kind of getting to be that part of the year. So
I've done a lot of traveling. Alabama might actually be one of the few states. I don't think I've been to Alabama or whatnot. I've been all over the South, dirty South, had a blast, have great things to say, but I think somehow I've always missed Alabama, so I have to put that on my list.
yeah, come on. We got a lot of good stuff here. So
when I started doing these things and people started emailing me back in and saying that they'd love to do an interview and whatnot, yours was short, sweet, and to the point, and you sparked my interest because you said that basically when you first joined Linchpin, you were doing a whole bunch of knucklehead mistakes and that you were a wreck. I was like, all right, you're a knucklehead mistakes and a wreck. So it sounds like there's something interesting there. So why don't you give us a little bit of your backstory and your journey during those days that you were mentioning there in the email?
yeah, so I came from a running background. I ran a lot in my 20s. Qualified for Boston twice. So
did you really?
Yeah, my PR for running was 3:07. So that's like a 7:10 pace.
Wow. That's no joke. I'm certainly not trying to discredit you, so don't take this the wrong way. Did running, were you a gifted runner and took to it for that, or did you grind your way down to a 7-minute mile? Because holding something like that for 26 miles, that's mind-blowing to me.
Yeah, no, I was a gifted runner. I didn't find it. I didn't run in high school. So I didn't find it until my 20s. But then when I started, I was like, wow, I'm really good at this. And so
yeah, no joke. That's crazy. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. But that's good and bad, I think, because then everything was through the lens of the next goal, the next competition, the next marathon, and so I could never just be okay with just running. And so then what happened was,
well, what were some, what do you mean, like the next goal? Was it the next race, or what kind of goals are you talking about?
Yeah, well, I ran a 3:07 was my fastest marathon, but I was not happy because I didn't get under 3. So
oh, right. Okay. Wow. Right. Sure.
yeah, so there's always someone faster than you, and there's always some other goal. And then what I found is I started to get into my 30s that running 50, 60, 70 miles a week, like my body would not hold up anymore. And I wasn't doing any strength training or anything like that. So I kind of got in this really bad place where I was still eating like a marathoner, but I was unable to run the miles because, I'd have my Achilles would hurt or my knees would hurt. I'd have to stop a training plan. These things would be 18 weeks long, preparing for a race, and you'd start and you didn't want to quit for those 18 weeks. You had it all planned out. And if I had to stop in the middle, it just got really, really discouraging. So I was in a place where I needed something different.
Maybe you can speak to that because, and maybe CrossFitters are a bit more aware or in tune or open to the possibility, but if we take CrossFit out, back in the day, to use that phrase, the people who were perceived to be the fittest human beings on earth was back in the day of like Mark Allen and
Yeah.
triathletes,
Yeah.
swim, bike, run long, skinny individuals could just go, 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 didn't want to carry any extra body weight on. And I'm not taking anything away from those achievements. They're incredible. They're for sure amazing. But it's interesting how many aspects of well-rounded fitness you could be negligent in and still be doing those other
Yeah.
tasks relatively well. And it kind of sounds like you were maybe living that life.
I remember reading articles that said if you really want to maximize your performance, don't lift.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, because
In
you
like
don't want,
Runner's World or
yeah,
whatever
yeah,
magazine or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
because you don't want to carry any extra weight, so don't lift.
You
And
know
I
what?
think there's, a lot of runners that still abide by that. Like, don't add any extra weight because, that will slow you down.
You know what's
Um,
interesting about that? And I remember that was very popular in everyone's mind, right? That if everyone thinks they have the genetics, and of course maybe these people had some extra help as well, but that everyone has Arnold Schwarzenegger's genetics or Lou Ferrigno's genetics or whatever it happens to be, right? And they're just going to start lifting weights and they're just going to put on 30 pounds of muscle and they're not going to know what to do with themselves. Like very few people have that genetic makeup. They just slap muscle on as soon as they touch weights. A lot of people start lifting and their body weight actually doesn't change that much. Their body composition might, like the scale might not move that much, but they just start getting head to toe stronger, and that's a great thing to do. You can bump up your back squat and your deadlift without putting on 20 extra pounds of weight and just become a stronger human. So yeah, I remember those days as
yeah,
well.
yeah. And I struggle to put on weight. Um, I'm the same way. So no matter how much lifting I do, and I can get into some of that, but I'm always going to be that small framed individual that that looks like a runner, and I'm totally fine with that. But there's this concept of skinny fat, and I think that's where I was at with running, where I ate all carbs all the time. All I did was run. And I was, what do you call it, the third wave adaptation or whatever. Like I think I had that to running, but then my body was just wasn't happy. Like I wasn't as healthy as I could be. And those
What
injuries
put
ended
that
up.
thought in your head? Because running is it's its own subculture. I mean,
Yeah,
it is a place to be, and probably breaking out of that culture, that mindset, and redefining maybe a direction you want to go in. That's not the easiest thing to do when you're immersed in a particular culture. So what was your catalyst?
I'm having a real life moment. My dog actually snuck out here
Oh,
somehow, and I'm trying to.
that's all right. Live TV.
Yeah, I know. And there's my wife walking by. Make sure the dog got loose and was just wandering around. So, okay,
What's the
sorry
dog's
about that.
name?
Chewy.
Chewie. Oh,
Yeah,
fantastic. And any
he look.
relation to Star Wars or just Chewie because he chews things?
Yeah, we adopted him, so the whole litter was named after Star Wars characters. But
That's amazing. It sounds like you got a good one. So what was the catalyst of you kind of breaking out of that mindset and going like, huh, I'm pouring my heart and
yeah,
soul into this activity and doing really well, but this might not be the path.
yeah. So there was that frustration with injury, and I
Okay.
went through a period of just like almost depression about that. And then I thought CrossFitters were crazy. My wife
Understandable.
my wife went first. And so she did, like a foundations program. It wasn't called that, but at a gym, here. And she started to go and she came home and started talking about it. And then that lit the fuse for me. And so then I wanted to go try it. Um,
Okay. And
and
when
so
was
I tried it.
this?
2015 is when I started.
Oh, wow. Okay. It's been a bit.
Yeah. So yeah, it has been a few minutes, but so I tried it and I fell in love with it. And the first thing I noticed was all those nagging injuries. As soon as I squatted and lunged and did those other things, and I was not running just exclusively every day, like those injuries suddenly went away. And I could box jump and I could jump rope and I could
Sure.
do all of those things that I was limited in.
And
Um,
how was your ability to squat? Because sometimes that's a struggle for runners, because
yeah,
running's not a full range of motion for the hip and knee, right? It's a partial range of motion just over and
yeah,
over and over. And so a lot of runners, quite frankly, really, if they're not strength training, go years and years without passing through a full range of motion on the hip and knee.
Yeah, I've been blessed in that my range of motion is
Oh,
actually pretty good.
good for
So,
you. That's
um,
fantastic.
yeah, it really wasn't. I think it needed some work, but it's a lot better now. And I could probably, talk a whole podcast about it, my overhead squat, progression and how bad it was, and just do, squat therapy right here against the wall,
Nice.
and just, doing all that stuff. Like I've really got, where I've got that mobility, from the ankles up through the shoulders now that I didn't have before. But I started from an okay place.
And so was it just that simple? You fell in, you went there, fell in love, and it's like a switch flipped and you left the running career behind and just started a new chapter? Or was there a period of back and forth and questioning like, my running's getting worse, we're not running as
Uh,
much?
yeah, there was a little bit of that. And I had a coach there who, is like just a life changer, for me. And I think I ran 10 miles one morning before I came to the gym, and I sat down. I'm like, I'm really not putting muscle on the way I want to. And, here's what I think I want to do. And here's my goals. And she wrote down on a piece of paper, stop eating sugar and stop, running 10 miles every day. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
so, I think that was probably the last day, that like double digit running was just a regular part of my routine. And I still love it. And I still, reserve the right to try a marathon again one day, or an ultra.
Sure.
One of the great things about CrossFit is I can walk out the door and probably run a half marathon right now if I wanted to, so I'd be a percentage slower,
Sure.
but
I'm curious for somebody who was as talented at running as you were and could hold the times that you could hold for as long as you could, do you actually have, I would expect, as so many other aspects of your fitness have improved and you've put time and attention into those and not so much into the running, I would assume you've preserved a certain amount of running ability, but not what it was in the peak. Do you have any kind of sense as to what, your 1 or 3 or 5 mile run time was back in the day and maybe what it might be now, the cost of gaining all these other areas of fitness, so to speak, and not just being a specialist?
my 5K time is honestly within a minute and a half.
Oh, no kidding. So roughly 30 seconds a mile-ish,
Yeah,
roughly. Oh, wow. And
yeah.
so that's the trade-off of gaining. What have you gained in your squat and deadlift and overhead squat and pull-ups and all that other stuff?
Um, my deadlift, just with Linchpin, I've put on probably 30 to 35
Oh,
pounds. Um,
congratulations.
but yeah, my deadlift PR, I think is, I'm a little guy, so my deadlift PR is 320, 325, something like that.
That's going to get it done.
But I mean, I do remember when I first started, like 155, being crazy. So, um, so yeah, I probably
So when you
have,
first started your CrossFit journey, you mean way back in 2015,
yeah,
155. So
yeah,
think about that. You had to give up 30 seconds per mile to add somewhere in the neighborhood of doubling your deadlift.
yeah. From zero strict pull-ups to 12
Oh,
unbroken.
wow. That's
Um,
fantastic. I mean,
so
that's a trade-off I would personally,
yeah,
I'm obviously biased, but I would recommend anybody takes that trade-off any day of the week.
yeah. People ask me, and I'm like, yes, I'm a little bit slower, but just
Sure.
in terms of overall fitness, like it's a night and day comparison where I was to where I am now.
And not
From
only
my
overall
core to shoulder strength,
capacity,
everything.
but like you're
Yeah,
saying, it's a tough way to live walking around with just nagging
yeah,
injuries. I mean, that's not fun, and you don't have to be a scientist to probably piece together that's not going to pay off well as the years and the decades tick by,
right.
and father time starts to come in and you're always nursing something, that's going to catch up with you eventually.
Yeah, and I'm a huge proponent, that just having the muscle mass, right? Just having lean muscle mass as you get older, just putting yourself in a position to hopefully age well and age gracefully, as much as you can. And yeah, I just think this supports that a lot better. Just carrying that muscle and continually doing functional movements every day just leads to a longer, happier life. We'll see, I guess. But
So it sounds like you were at an affiliate that that you enjoyed, quite frankly. You said the
Yeah.
coach there was, great and a life changer. So what brought you to Linchpin?
Yeah, so that's where the rec starts. And I've been to 3 or 4 affiliates. They may be watching this video, so nothing to crush on any of them because
Sure,
I achieved a super high level of fitness. There's some of it's in my head. Some of it was the kind of the part A, part B. Do a whole bunch of stuff in 45 minutes or an hour. And I'm a competitive person. Like I came from that background of like my 5K time has to be a PR, my marathon time has to be a PR. So I just naturally fit into, okay, what's the heaviest deadlift I can get away with in this workout?
sure.
Handstand push-ups, I'm not ready for that. I'm going to do them anyway.
Yep.
And so,
Hey, if that's what's prescribed, I'm going to do it.
yeah. And so I had to scale a lot because just physically I had to scale, but it wasn't a scaling mindset. The mindset was do as heavy as I possibly can. I wasn't thinking about the intent of the workout. There just wasn't that cerebral component to it. It was as heavy and as fast as I possibly can. And maybe a little bit of that here and there was gym culture, but so much of it was me bringing,
Sure.
this warped competitive mindset that I had from running into CrossFit. And so you fast forward that a few years. The story that I like to tell is that I would jump up on the pull-up bar to warm up. I would wince when I jumped up on the pull-up bar to warm up. I wouldn't tell anybody, but I would wince in pain. I would proceed to warm up. I would proceed to do bar muscle ups, or 100 pull-ups or whatever it is for the workout. Then I would go home and I would try to throw the ball, throw a football or something with my son. And I couldn't get my arms over my head well enough to throw the football to him. But I would not stop. I would just go back to see him the next day and do it again.
Right. I think that
so
message is going to resonate with a lot of people, by the way.
Yeah. And so after some time, I had a day where I did the heaviest deadlift I possibly could in a workout. And I knew as soon as I did it that I'd kind of jacked my back up. And so I was walking around with like lower back, problems, shoulders that just were non-functional. And then, kind of the last straw. So there was this short-term, fitness challenge that I participated in. This is bad for me because it was like over 62 days. And I think I took 2 days off the first week of the challenge. And then I realized that in order to win the challenge, I had to work out every day. And so I worked out 60 out of 62 days, including Thanksgiving and Christmas. And even on Thanksgiving and Christmas, I made my food diary entries because there were points available for that. And so my family hated me. Family was like, when is this going to be over? And can you never do this again?
Right.
And so I got to the end of that and I was so burned out on just, thinking short term, making decisions that were short term, like competitive decisions. And I just, in frustration, I went to Google one day and I searched at home CrossFit program. Cause I was like, maybe I just need to shrink into a box and do this myself for a while. And one of the first things that came up, one of your best ambassadors, Nick B.
Sure. Yeah.
Posted a blog, posted a review, and I read it, and it was just this long, review and blog about Linchpin. And I'd seen you on the games, doing the commentary. So I knew your name, I knew of you. And so then I started to read, I think I read your article about things you've learned in, 10 years of doing CrossFit or whatever it was. And it was stuff like, eat the piece of cake on your son's birthday, you knucklehead, and scale. And I just started to sort of listen to those things and see how they were so different from, what my mindset had been. And so then I did, it was the 7-day or 14-day trial. It was like the second day we did 3 by 800 meter run. And so here I was outside. Yeah. I was outside, not in the box, and something just felt so freeing about it. I think there was the hour ruck you program the next week. And
Yeah.
I had no equipment. I took this little backpack and I threw 2 dumbbells in the back of it, and got on the treadmill and walked for 30 minutes. But it was different. Like fitness was different. And it still is with Linchpin. And I just felt free, and like there was just something, you program intentionally to keep your knees and back and shoulders in line. And I sort of felt that immediately as an end user of the program. Was like, okay, I can see where I'm not doing push press on Monday and then handstand push up on Tuesday.
Sure. Right.
It's the same thing, and then every time something would get sore, it's like, oh, there's an off day, coming up. And then the next day I'm not going to be using that body part. And so there's this, beautiful rhythm, for the end user that I think comes about from the program. And I just really, it's probably been 4 years. And I've been doing Linchpin the majority of that 4 years, and just have never looked back.
And have you built yourself up a nice little garage gym?
It's pretty crazy. It's awesome.
Your happy space?
Yeah, it's my happy space. I've got just about everything. I need to do a garage gym tour.
Yeah.
I know we've done a lot of those, and I haven't done mine, but yeah, I've got about everything. The only thing I can't do in here is wall ball to 10 feet, which I kind of resolved I just never will do that again, because I'm,
and you'll be just fine.
I'm 5'8", and so I have to do jump shots anyway.
Yep.
For that. So I wall ball here to 8 3/4 feet, and it's great. And I can't do bar muscle ups or ring muscle ups. I figure out how to do low ones, and I really think if I
you won't be shortchanged with that.
No, I really think if I walked into a box right now, I could do bar muscle ups easy, just because of the strength that we've built. Just doing strict pulling and stuff like that. I think I'd be fine.
Strict pull-ups, man. Those are the keys to the kingdom right there. So you've got a fantastic story. I mean, I love the running aspect and the lessons learned there, and the doing too much volume and too much this too quickly, and finding a good place that fits well for you. I guess if anybody's watching or listening, and maybe this is resonating with them a bit, hindsight being 2020, any lessons learned or recommendations or advice to people, that were maybe stuck where you used to be?
Yeah, I just take it one day at a time. I think I every decision I used to make, I thought it was my fitness rides on this decision.
Amen to that.
And I think some of that was because I had this, I put this pressure on myself for like, long marathon programs. If I don't make this speed work this week, or, I don't get the long run in on Saturday, I'm toast. Like I'll never make my goal. I can't be sick. I can't. And so I would come into this, and it's like, okay, if I don't go RX on this workout, like my fitness is done. It's it's just really just
one. If you miss up one workout, your whole lifetime of fitness will crumble.
Yeah, it's just between the ears was just such a struggle. And so, I really think that Linchpin in general, and you as my coach in this community, has saved my fitness, because I see people, they're doing their workout, and they've got the baby and the little walker, next to them. And it's like, what, they're achieving fitness really well.
Absolutely.
And then there's days when I'm, like I'm not feeling 100%, and I'm able to take the pressure off and know that it's just one day that I got to work out in, even though it wasn't perfect. Out of, hopefully hundreds or thousands of days. I think I have nowhere near Ben G, but I think I have 1,650, so almost 1,650 sessions and beyond the whiteboard. And
that's huge.
So I hope to get to 10,000 like he has.
That's huge. He's a maniac. He's not human.
Yeah.
But
it's just community of regular people. And so that would be my advice, is just take it one day at a time, make it the best hour of your day, have fun, and achieve fitness. And so I do all of the things that I've always done. I try to work out 5 days a week. I try to follow, my kind of lazy macros and 800-gram challenge, thrown out to EC and Optimize Me Nutrition. And I'm not perfect, but I don't want to be perfect anymore in the sense that I drive everybody around me crazy, and I'm this insane, you know, maniac. So there's a balance there, to where the goal here is to be as fit as I can be without being crazy, and to be able to, have a busy life, a busy job,
Mm-hmm.
family, son in high school, lots of things going on. And I want to be present for all of that stuff. And I want to be physically able to do all the things, that I want to do, and don't say no to anything, for as long as I possibly can.
Good,
Uh,
good long-term decisions, and life's a team sport. You
Indeed.
gotta surround yourself with people that help you get to the finish line. Because if you
Yeah.
try to do it all by yourself, chances are you're going to have more stumbles than you
Yeah.
should, and it'll take longer to achieve those goals. So, Geoff, I appreciate you, sir. I appreciate your honesty and being a part of what, I brag about it all the time, of what makes Linchpin, in my humble opinion, just the most amazing community in the face of the earth. It's people like you that are honest and genuine and open and transparent, and so that goes a long way. So thank you very much for being open to this interview.
Yeah. And thank you, Pat. And thanks to the community, even, back in the day before there was a Facebook page, and, there were a few of us hanging out on the squads. Like, it's
Yeah,
just always been, just keeps me grounded. Just watching people every day, just doing everyday things, and being beasts. And so, uh, thank you for leading that. Thank you for, setting the tone. And, thank you to everybody else that, is watching and part of the community, for just like being good to each other every day, and creating a space on social media that, is free of the jealousy, and
right.
free of the fighting, and free of the, it's really good for all of us. So thank you too.
Somehow we pulled it off. We'll keep doing it, and thanks for again making this happen early in the day. Have a great day, Geoff, and I will see you online
All right, you too, Pat. Thank you.
later.